Greetings all, and welcome to Daily Pali Reading. Today we are going to begin a journey into the Vinayapiṭake. As the Theravada Tipitaka Press describes it, it is the basket of guidance. If you get that, this is just the Pali. This is exactly what you would get at tipitaka.org online. It's a hefty tome of 819 pages of very small print. Far from being simply rules for monks and nuns to live by, I believe Richard Gombrich described the Vinaya as the basket you read if you really want enlightenment. So we are going to begin our journey here. Another interesting thing, of course, is that the Vinaya is placed first in the three baskets. That is, if you were just given the Buddhist scriptures of the Pali canon, this is where we would begin. And I think that there's a lot of interesting things that are revealed to us when we begin this way. So what I'm going to do is, in an effort to have Daily Pali Reading live up to its name, I'm going to keep these videos real short. I'm going to just do one sentence at a time and try to post these daily. And I will write out a translation here. I'm not going to give all the vocabulary and everything. I think it'll be pretty straightforward. If there's something that is sort of a problem, we'll talk about it. So here we go. Tena samayena. Buddho, bhagavā, verañjāyaṃ viharati, naḻerupucimandamūle, mahatā, bhikkhusaṅghena saddhiṃ, pañcamattehi, bhikkhusatehi. So here we begin with Tena samayena. If you're just going through Pali Primer, I think by the time you get to the third chapter, the third lesson, you'll know this ending, and it is the instrumental. Now, when you use the instrumental with a word of time, if I said that right, it's going to mean at a time or in a time. So we'll say here, at this time, or at that time. I like at this time. You'll see in a minute, this is going to be a very vivid picture. Buddho, bhagavā. Buddho, I think we all know, the Buddha, we'll put it that way, the Buddha further described bhagavā, the Blessed One, and we'll skip to the verb, viharati, is living. That's our third person singular present active verb here, just what we would expect. Viharati, I should say buddho and bhagavā are both nominative singular, masculine nominative singular. And then we have verañjāyaṃ. And this is the locative singular of the long A declension, feminine long A declension, is living. At this time, the Buddha, the Blessed One, is living at or in Veranja. We'll just leave it like that. Veranja. No period yet. Now, the next one is a bit of an issue, and that's because it also involves a place name. Since Veranja is by itself, we can kind of figure that out. Here, we can work backwards. Mule is the locative singular of a mula, which means root. Could also mean money, mula. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but mula could mean money. But here, the root or maybe the foot. And then pucimanda is a type of tree, a nimba tree. I'll put a picture of it up. I think it has fragrant flowers and fruit. And then it leaves this word here, Naleru, which I think is a place name. And those place names are not in the Pali English dictionary, so that can make this kind of difficult. But since it isn't there, we can pretty much deduce that it's a place name. So is living at Veranja at the maybe foot of the, we'll say, nimba tree, and it could even be trees, and we'll see why in just a second. At the foot of the nimba trees at Naleru, and we'll just leave it Naleru, at Naleru, with, and this is mahatā, with a great, this is instrumental here, mahant, with a great sammāsambuddhassa, with a great congregation, bhikkhu, of bhikkhus, with a great congregation of monks, with a great congregation of monks. Oh, and I should say saddhiṃ is really helping us out here. Saddhiṃ is used typically when you have like living beings. If this were just a thing, we wouldn't get saddhiṃ. With a great congregation of monks. Now this is, the great congregation is further described. Pañcamattehi, bhikkhusatehi. Now one thing you can tell right away that the ending here is either going to be ablative plural or instrumental plural. I'm going with instrumental plural, and what I think is happening is that this pañcamattehi, bhikkhusatehi is really in apposition with bhikkhusaṅghena, but here it's instrumental. It's a singular noun, but it has kind of a plural meaning, a congregation of, and especially here in the compound, a congregation of monks. So here, when they're describing those monks, it's picking up on that plurality. And lastly, this is just kind of an interesting way that Pali expresses, this idea. We get this word mattehi from mahatā, and that means measuring. Measuring what? 5. 5 measuring, and if we just do this in order, 5 measuring monks, hundreds. And what this means is measuring 5, and this is just the way Pali does its numbers like this, numbering 5 hundreds of monks. So we could say that kind of literally, numbering or measuring, but I think we could safely say numbering 500 monks. In English, we wouldn't say 500s of, but we might, if we were translating this and say we wanted to be a little, maybe less literal, we could probably say with a great congregation of 500 monks.